welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here, my name is Andrea and we are officially getting ready to head to Disney World, which means it is time to pack. And today we are tackling our carry-ons and personal items. Now, I feel like every single time we travel, I am learning something new about what I actually need and what I actually absolutely do not need with me. And most importantly, what needs to be an easy to grab when we are going to the airport or literally just sitting on the plane. So while I am packing up everything today, I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite packing tips, all the tricks, how I decide what goes into the carry-ons versus our personal items or our check-ins, what I always keep with me instead of putting it into a check bag. And of course, we are going to be packing up Annie's bag, who is my 5-year-old, her bag too. So even though we're packing for Disney World today, you absolutely do not have to be going to Disney World for these tips, whether you are packing for a family vacation, a weekend trip, or you're just trying to figure out what in the world you actually need in your carry-on. Hopefully this will make your next travel day a little bit easier, because as a busy mom, I don't need to be packing and everything to be perfect. I just need to know where everything is when somebody says, "Hey mom, I need..." So grab your suitcase, pack along with me. We're getting ready for a trip too. Now let's see how these bags get packed. All right, let's just start at the top. Right? We've got carry-on bags, we've got personal bags, we've got all the different shapes and sizes. I don't know which one is which. Now, I will go ahead and put the disclaimer on here that many of your airlines are different. So I'm just going to be speaking from a perspective of a major airline such as Delta, who we're flying this time, and or Allegiant, who is a budget-saving airline, who we fly also a lot. So very vastly different, and I will try to share those rules with you guys as I go of a typical budget airline and then your major airline. Okay, so what are the differences between all the things? So at the front, what the biggest difference is between a carry-on bag and a personal bag are what the sizes are. So your personal bag can be something such as like my fanny pack. That would be like my purse. Or in my husband's case, he likes to bring a personal bag and he will just bring like a normal backpack. This bag right here fits in the dimensions of a personal bag, which is fantastic because it carries a lot. And I'll show you the whole size range of that too and let you all see inside of it whenever we start getting packed. But those two things can count as a personal bag, and every single individual gets a personal bag according to Delta and according to Allegiant. So tomorrow, my personal bag will be this guy, and then I am going to count this guy as my carry-on because this also fits in the dimensions of a carry-on. So ideally, technically, I can bring on 2 bags onto Delta. I could also forego this, or whenever I get through TSA and we're getting ready to board, they're going to be counting your bags then, not through TSA. So whenever I'm getting ready to board, I could simply put this in my bag and have 2 of these. This could be my carry-on, and then I could have a personal bag and I could board Delta just fine, right? Within those personal bag requirements and the carry-on requirements. Now, let's say that I am flying Allegiant, which is a budget airline. You're only allowed to bring on for free 1 personal bag. You can bring on a carry-on, but that's going to be an additional charge. So in order for me to forego the additional charge, I will go through TSA with this because, again, we'll go through the whole thing of what I carry in here and why I carry it and all the mom tips and tricks, right? So I will go through TSA. I will leave my check-in luggage up at the front. I have all this and I have this, right? But whenever I'm getting ready to board, I do put this in this bag, and now I have the one personal bag for free. Okay, so that is our personal bags for Delta and Allegiant. Again, I do want to preface that these are just the airlines that I am specifically referring to. Now, whenever we're talking about a carry-on, more specific, again, carry-ons have specific dimensions that you have to stay within. So like I said, this counts as a personal bag, and it also counts as a carry-on bag because it fits in the dimension. So from a personal bag standpoint, this is more so like the max of a personal bag size. But then also I can count it as my carry-on. So what I like to do for my carry-on, which for Delta tomorrow, I will be using this guy. And again, it goes to the size. This can fit as a carry-on for Allegiant and or Delta. And I most often expand this too. So it can go as small as that, or it can go as wide as that. Now you can also see that I have these little Allegiant tags on here because I have used this as a carry-on with Allegiant, but it was an additional price point versus with Delta, both your personal bag and your carry-ons are for free, which is really, really nice. One thing that I do like to do is compare the prices. So that's why we're flying Delta on this trip, because after all is said and done with Allegiant, sometimes with adding on a carry-on bag and adding on the check-in bag, sometimes that price point can be just as expensive as Delta because we are Gold Delta Amex members where your check-in luggage is for free. So you can play, you can balance the price points, but ultimately, whenever you are flying Allegiant, then they will put this on your carry-on, signifying that you did pay for that bag and it can enter the plane. Now, with my 5-year-old, this is her personal bag that she brings on the plane with her. This is the only thing that she brings. So technically, I do have the 4 bags for us. So this is her personal bag. This is my personal bag tomorrow. This will be her carry-on, and this will be my carry-on with flying through Delta. Now, if I was flying Allegiant, for example, I would go right back to putting this back into this bag right here once I'm getting ready to board. Carry these on, pay for the carry-on down here. And then this would still be my daughter's personal bag, and then the roly-poly is what we'll call it. That one will be my additional paid bag. I could, again, do this. I could do a second bag like this, but she likes having her own backpack that she can carry. Now, before I ever start packing up, I like to ask myself a few questions. Now, the first one is going to be, do I need it in the airport? The second one would be, do I need it on the plane? And then the third one would be, if it was lost, if my check-in was lost, let's say that I put something in my check-in and it was lost, would I be in trouble, or would I cause some issues? Like, would my life be just absolutely devastated if I lost my check-in? So those are some rules of thumbs. Things that come to mind for me would be my car keys. I've got my car keys right here. I left them out on purpose. And the thing I love about this bag is that I'm always scared to death that I'm going to lose my car keys. So this guy has a little clippity clip right here that I can clip my car keys to, put it in this zipper, and zip it on up. It's never going to fall out. So that's going to be one thing. Another thing that I or you cannot live without would be any type of medications. Like, do not put your medications in your check-in bag. Keep them on your personal bag or keep them in your carry-on bag. And honestly, most of the time that the airlines, whenever you're dropping off your check-ins, that they're going to be asking, what do you have in here? Like, do you have any medications in here? So go ahead, take those out, make sure that they are in your personal bag. Now, another thing, when we'll go through my personal bag, and I know we packed this up the other day on our 7 days out video, but I do want to touch on it because it is so very important. So personally, for my personal bag that I have attached to my body, I like to keep it as simple as possible. Now, I have my wallet with my money and my gift cards that I might need in here. And then I have our IDs in here. This is just a passport type of wallet where we use our passports to fly because we already had our passports, so why spend the extra money on getting a real ID? So we have our passports. Now, whenever you are flying and your child does not have a passport, I highly recommend bringing a photocopy of their birth certificate. It's not necessary, like they don't and hardly ever ask for her ID, but I do bring it just in case. Now, for example, whenever you are dropping off your check-in bag, they only need your ID, and then sometimes they'll verify with Annie her name or her birth date. It's not consistent by any means, but she is prepared in case they ask. Now, whenever we do get to TSA, again, I have her ID just in case. And in your case, if they don't have a passport or a state identification, you can have a photocopy of their birth certificate. Don't bring the real one, just bring a photocopy and it should be totally fine. That's what I did for years before Annie ever had a passport. So whenever you're getting ready to go through TSA, they're going to want your ID and your child's boarding pass. So for example, and this is why I said that I like to keep it simple, because as I'm going in and out of this bag, I leave kind of this flap open. That way I can grab this and we're good to go. And another thing that I like to do is keep our photo pages. Like here's Annie's, and I'm trying not to show you guys our photos, but I like to keep our photo pages and I'll stack us like so. That way, whenever I give my IDs or our family's IDs to TSA, that they just have to simply open it up and they can see our IDs, and it makes things a little bit easier and more simple and quicker trying to get through. So I will grab these, and I typically like to put them in this little pouch, and I like to put them in this little pouch right here. That way it kind of keeps the pages open, and I'll leave this right here. So I've checked my stuff in. I've got my IDs ready to go. We're going up to TSA, and we are pre-check, but it would be the same for those that are not in pre-check. So I go up to them, and then I will hand them my IDs, and I have Annie's boarding pass ready, and we're good to go through TSA. So again, keeping it simple in here, not having my keys in here, not having medications, things that I'm going to be devastated with. I just have to have the essentials to get through the airport right here. Now, I do have like chapstick in here as well in case my lips get chapped. And then my sunglasses, because whenever you arrive to Florida, you're blinded by the light. So it's as simple as that. I also will keep a hair clip on here just for easy grab and goes, especially with your flying and you're trying to gather the kiddos. If you're just momming so hard and you're just like, this needs to go up, it's an easy clip. Or if you're like, oh, I'm getting a headache from my hair clip, you're not going to lose it. So that is really, really convenient. Now let's talk about what is in our personal item, aka carry-on, whichever one you need it to be. So I'll show you a few of my favorite things that I never ever travel without. And it was easy as that, right? I was talking to you and I grabbed it out. This is what we need, and this is how we need to travel super easy, especially as moms and traveling with our kiddos. So this is one of those things I've used for years and I will not fly without it. This is called the airplane pocket. So whenever I am seated on the airplane, I can simply open up this bag and get this out. You pull your tray table down and then put this on there and it's hanging like so. And you've got all of these pockets, whether your kids are giving you trash, whether you want to put your phone in here, whether you want to put your drinks in there, some snacks, your headphones. It's all really, really easy to grab and keep right here, because whenever you're on the plane, there's nothing worse than trying to get down in the plane and trying to figure out where something is. And I use this often, or like, oh my God, I've lost my cell phone because it was sitting on my lap. That removes all of it. And in addition, like your kids are opening up their new toys that they got. They're opening up their bubblegum wrappers and they don't want their bubblegum anymore. So now I can get the bubblegum wrapper and put their bubblegum in it. So this is a lifesaver. I'm telling you, the OGs know I never travel without this. The other thing, let's just talk a little bit about this bag. There's like pockets galore in here. So that's one pocket. This is the one that had my keys in it, right? So I'm zipping her up. And then here's another pocket. I've got some wipes in here, some alcohol wipes, another hair clip for emergencies, right? If that didn't work out. I've got bubble gum. So Annie is about to be 6 and she's never really had ear problems flying until maybe the past year. So as a baby, she was good. When she was a baby, there was a couple times that I had to breastfeed her to help with the pressure, but then she went a couple of years and she was fine. So now bubblegum is her best friend. So she starts chewing it whenever she starts feeling the pressure. And then I also have some acetaminophen in here for just in case. And I also always travel with a luggage scale. So whenever I am finalizing all of my check-in bags, I put this in here because let's say we're trying to shop a little bit while we're at Disney World or wherever we're going. Maybe we rearrange some of our stuff coming home and we put a little bit too much in one check-in bag. This is going to keep you from dropping off your luggage and they're like, ma'am, you're over 50 pounds for your check-in. This is saving you. A couple of other things that I have in here for right now would be my headphones. I always travel with my headphones because music, right? Obvious. But these headphones are soundproof. So even if I don't even want to listen to music or anything like that, the sound of the airplane, I can get that out of my head. So I love these. My husband has these. And then Annie also has a pair of soundproof headphones, and I'll show you in a bit as well. But they're fantastic. And they're a lot more affordable. So I did buy the Beats headphones at one point and they were so uncomfortable. They were like really heavy and really tight. And then my husband had got the black versions. He was like, Andrea, you need to try mine. And I did. And I was sold ever since. So these are fantastic and they are Bluetooth and you can plug them up. So we are flying Delta. They've got the TVs on the back side of most of the seats. So I can plug these in and watch TV as well. So you don't have to necessarily use their little headphones that come with it. These are way more comfortable. So again, we've got all kinds of pockets in here. If I was a light packer, I could definitely utilize this for my clothes, but unfortunately that I'm not that girl. But it's got so many pockets, and then of course you can put this on the back side of your luggage, of your roly-poly, like so. And that's what makes things a little bit easier. Now I will say, like my husband, he's like, why do you always just bring your roly-poly? Like it's so much bigger. And I'm like, yes, A, yes. B, it's on wheels. So if I can put something on wheels to make going through the airport a little bit easier, then yes, why not? That just makes so much more sense.
If you're a busy mom, you already know that sometimes getting ready for the day happens wherever you can fit it in. And today, that just so happens to be in my car. That's one of the reasons I've been enjoying Trestique. Everything is so compact and easy to use on the go. And can we talk about how cute this little olive makeup bag is? I can keep basically my entire routine right here without carrying around a bunch of extra brushes because so many of the applicators are built right into the products. I also took Trestique's makeup quiz to help me find the shades that work best for me. So let me show you what I'm using while I get ready. I have started with the foundation stick, Sponge in Paradise Island Beige, and the concealer crayon with the sponge in Porcelain. And then I'm adding the blush stick in Moroccan Rose. For my eyes, I'm using the Venetian Shimmer Shadow, Roman Bronze Eyeliner in the brow pencil, and the tinted gel in Espresso, and finishing with the shiny lip crayon and primer in Malibu Mauve. And just like that, I have basically my entire makeup routine done right here in the car. I love that I can throw everything back into this little bag and just keep going. It's perfect for busy days, running errands, or even throwing into my Disney park bag when we're traveling. The packaging is also refillable, so when I run out, I don't have to replace the entire product. And if you're not sure which shades are right for you, I definitely recommend using Trestique's makeup quiz. It helped match me with my shades and gave me personalized recommendations without even having to guess. Because sometimes I only have a few minutes to get myself together, and I love having a routine that can actually keep up with my life. I'll have Trestique and the makeup quiz linked below so that you can find your matches.
Now, let's talk a little bit what is in Annie's bag. Now, we're not completely done with this because I do allow her to pack her own bag. We did go to the Five Below, and she was able to grab a bunch of stuff earlier today, and that's a part of our 24 hours until Disney video, so you'll have to see what she got in there. But in here, we need to empty because we've not emptied it since last trip. So she has her hand sanitizer right here. This is not the original flavor that came with it, but she loves some hand sanitizer. So she does travel with her little Mickey sanitizers. This is some slime squishy that, she probably forgot was in here. Now, I will say, since slime and squishies are all the craze, you need to be careful with it because that liquid that is inside can be considered against the fluid ounces. So, again, the fluid ounces, it doesn't matter. I've heard stories. I don't know how consistent it is, but it just scares me because I know that if a squishy of hers had over 3 fluid ounces of liquid inside of it, and TSA officers were like, we're going to have to confiscate that from you, she would be devastated. So I've heard some inconsistencies, but I'm not willing to watch my child be just heartbroken at the very top of vacation. So we're not going to be bringing the squishies in that way. Now, so this is her bag. It's got a little cup holder here. We will also be bringing Awala bottles. Our Awala bottles are our favorite when we travel too because they have that huge opening on the top. And if you have like one of those straw bottles where it opens, when you're up in the air, the cabin pressure will get that, and that water will go flying all over you, all over your neighbor, all over the seat, all over your clothes. Like, highly don't recommend that. But with the Awala, that opening is a lot bigger and it's not holding as much cabin pressure. So it is not going to create the fountain like the straw version that's going to go up and down and fold down. So I do like to bring our empty Awala bottles through TSA and then use the water filter when you get through and fill that up. So that would be like a budget saving tip. Now, another thing that we do put in her bag is this, and this is just simply like a toiletry bag that we use for snacks and toys. We will need to fill this up with all of her toys, and I will have to look at one last approval so she's not squeezing in a squishy or anything that doesn't need to go with us. So we have her snacks in there. And then whenever we get good to go, she will put this hanger on the back of the seat in front of her. And that way she can keep really, really organized, grab some toys if she wants, grab some snacks if she wants. And this also works with the transportation to and from the resort and the airport. So it's really, really convenient, and it creates one location for the messes to stay. So like I was talking about, like the wrappers, the mom life, opening up all kinds of new toys that we just got, doing the mystery openings on the planes. It's all going to be in one area, which is really, really nice. Here are Annie's headphones that we were talking about. They're her favorite colors, the blue, the purple, and with the pink case. She loves these. Again, they are fantastic at canceling out the noise. You can do Bluetooth or you can do these little cords so you don't have to use those little headphones that the airlines give you. Now, talking about while you're on the plane, some ideas to get your kids from point A to point B. Now, I'm not going to go in super depth because I do have an entire how to fly with kids video coming because we're getting ready to fly to Hawaii next month. So especially for the long flights, because that one is a long flight from Kentucky to Honolulu. But I did want to kind of touch on a few things. So nothing beats snacks, right? So I do bring this snack bag with us, and it does fit into my personal bag, or like this bag that's sitting on top. I will fill it with snacks. So she's got some in her bag, this bag, and then I've got some in here alongside some surprise ones. So if she's getting really antsy, if I'm trying to bribe her, don't judge. If I'm trying to surprise her with something really exciting, I will put it in here. In addition, this is a really great size. So this also keeps me from having to buy a bunch of snacks wherever we are. So at Disney World, we can live out of this snack bag for a really long time, and it gets us through coming back. You cannot forget that you're coming back from your destination as well. So we still have snacks here to go. Now, talking a little bit about the toys too. So she has access to her toys, but not all of them are going to be going in that. So I have some in my bag too. And I know the other day on another vlog, we were talking a little bit about weather and making sure that we have a few things in our back pocket. Let's say that the flight got canceled. Let's say that the flight got delayed. Let's say that we're stuck in traffic. Anything, right? You need to keep a few things in your back pocket or your carry-on to pull out in case something is taking a little bit more time than you had anticipated. So not all the toys that we bought from Five Below are going to go in directly into her bag. I'm going to have some in mind. That way I can surprise her with a few things. She's getting antsy. I'm going to entertain her with this. Maybe bring out some coloring books and some crayons and we can do things together. We've played Uno on our flights. We can play tic-tac-toe. We can do all kinds of things. So it's really important as a mama that you're putting a few entertainment moments in your bag and you're not giving it all to them at once. Let it be in little small increments to keep them entertained. So our flight from Cincinnati to MCO is 2 hours long. That's not very long, but it is long in kid time. So if she is antsy, it's going to be easy for me to grab a special snack. It's going to be easy for me to grab a special entertainment or a special toy. I also will be bringing her Nintendo Switch and I will have it in my bag as well. It's something that we have played Mario Kart up in the sky before, and I will keep that on there as well. She can play any of her games that she wants. And again, that Orlando traffic can get really serious and you're in the car for a lot longer than what you really anticipated. So highly suggest not letting them have all hands on deck whenever with everything in their own bag. That's again why I just can't ever simply pack light, because my brain, the mom brain, is constantly going through all the scenarios and making sure that we have as minimum attitudes as possible. Now, when we're talking about the actual roly-poly and what I like to put in here, some people are like, okay, first of all, what do you put in there? I've got a couple suggestions. Let's first start off with our first day, like our arrival. So I not only put an emergency change of clothes because life happens sometimes. It could be something as simple as your water bottle exploding because of cabin pressure, or maybe your kiddo maybe had an accident, or maybe they got sick, like any emergency stuff, right? So we can put an emergency something in here for you and for your kids, right? Another thing is I put our swimsuits in here. That way I can grab them. If our room's not ready, we can just simply change in the changing areas. And then I also put our evening outfits in here. So like our full on day one, everything that we need is going to be right in here, because there's nothing worse than arriving, your room's not ready, and then you're having to go through your check-in bags, trying to find exactly what you are needing. That I don't want to do that. So it's a little bit easier whenever I just know that all of our day one stuff is in here. That includes shoes, right? The other part that I like to suggest is utilizing packing cubes. I know some people like my husband, he's like, oh, packing cubes, they're not needed. Okay, sir. Sure, if that's what you think. I didn't make him use a packing cube our last trip, and we arrive and like all of his clothes are disheveled and he can't stand to even wear a wrinkled t-shirt. And I'm like, we could have used a packing cube, and all the organization, you can just get it out and put it in the drawer whenever you get there or hang it up. But nonetheless, I'm a packing cube gal, but it also keeps things really, really organized for me within my luggage too. So let's say I've got Annie's stuff in there, or I've got my stuff. Maybe you've got your other kids' stuff. It keeps it all separate. In addition, another way that you could use a packing cube is putting everybody's stuff in day one. So you're not having to just say, okay, where is your stuff? Where's your stuff? You're like, hey guys, I've got all of our stuff. It's right here, right? Same with your bathing suits. I've got a packing cube with our bathing suits. I will bring in the whole bathing suit packing cube into the water park with us to change. And it's so much more simple than having your undergarments flap in and fall in right out of your swim bag, right? So I do love a good packing cube, okay? And it keeps everything just very secure and intimate, right? So if you know what I'm saying. The other thing that I will note that I love to put in here would be things that are heavy. So for instance, we do use and trade pins at Disney, and we have quite a bit. So I put those in here because they're really, really heavy. Now we are starting to get to the point where we have a lot. In our last trip, was flagged. So the TSA agent was just like, simply next time, just tell the TSA agent what you have, and you might just have to get it out. So I do need to think about that. But they're just super, super heavy that it's going to save me in pounds, that I could put a lot more stuff in my check-in rather than putting it in here. So that's one instance. Some of my stuff for my stroller that I'm going to need day one as well, that just so happens to be heavy too. So all of my stroller add-ons and accessories, I put them in here. Okay, so really anything and everything that you need day one, it needs to be in here, besides your stuff that's going to be over 3 fluid ounces. Okay, so you can't be bringing a huge bottle of hairspray. You can't be bringing a huge bottle of sunscreen. And that would be another thing that I like to think through, is there is a specific reason that on our travel days, Annie has long sleeve swimsuits that day, because you're limited on sunscreen. It just makes it a little bit easier to cover up a lot more skin. And she's got that red hair, fair skin too, so she burns really, really easy. So I just make her wear long sleeves. So that could be a tip for you too, for protecting the kiddos' skins, with the limitation of the fluid ounces of sunscreen. And you're not having to like go through your check-in bag whenever you get there and trying to find your sunscreen thing. You can put it under like a small one, a 3 fluid ounce one underneath there. I would highly suggest not buying it at Disney because the price points are really, really steep. Everything is marked up really, really high. Now, if you need it, of course, do that. Or you can do an Amazon order and have it delivered to the resort. That's another option. Another big thing that you cannot forget, and this would probably be one of the most important things that you cannot forget, it would be like right behind your car keys and right behind your wallet and your IDs, would be your chargers. I actually put all of my phone chargers, of course, my content creation chargers and batteries and stuff, that's with me as well. But your phone chargers, keep that on you. Your portable chargers, keep that on you. Don't lose those, because also your kid, if they If their iPad dies, that's tragic. That's tragic in our household. So I put Annie's charger in her little portable thing. I have my iPhone charger. I've got my MacBook charger. All of that is with me, because also goes back to that question that we were asking earlier, was if something got lost, would it really, really cause some trouble in my life? Yes, it would cause some trouble. I would have to go buy another charger. What if my phone was about to die? I'm using my phone all day anyway because my boarding pass is on there. The My Disney Experience app is on there. So keep your chargers with you and do not put those in your check-in bags. All right, it is that time to finalize our packing, get ready for bed, because I want to go to sleep early because we have an early morning. But I got to make sure that we're squared away, check all the boxes, and make sure that things are really, really easy for us to access, whether going through the airport, whether packing back up once TSA has went through all of our stuff, whether we're on the plane, on the way to Disney World, all the things. Now, I will leave you with one last tip. Whenever you arrive to Disney, make sure that you take your passports or your IDs. Like in my case, I have an entire wallet, and I will put it in this bag. I will never put my passports in my check-in bag because I don't want to bring those into the parks, right? So I will always put it in there, because worst comes to worst, this is going to be with me through the entire airport. So put that IDs in there. Anything that you never want to be in a check-in bag and you don't need to take, and you don't need to leave it out, you don't need to take it into the parks, put everything back into here. And then worst comes to worst, even if you forgot to get it out and put it in your personal bag or another bag, it's still going to be with you. Don't ever put anything in a check-in bag. Let's not cross-contaminate. But I'm going to see you guys on the next one. It was such an honor to hang out with you guys today. I can't wait to hang out with you all on the next one. We'll be at Disney World and we're going to have a lot of fun together. We love you all. Bye.
Do you believe in magic?